Good morning. My name is Davis Turnbull, and I'm going to be presenting on how to analyze Latter-Day Saint Doctrine from Unit 1. So starting with academic sources, you can see here the two that I have chosen. They're really good at expressing what the problem is and how to overcome it. So starting with God Body by Stephen H. Webb, he says, without an established clergy or a class of professional theologians trained in divinity schools, it can be difficult at times for an outsider to get a feel for what is essential and what is peripheral to the Mormon faith. Where doctrine begins and ends in Mormon thought is often hard to say. Beliefs are common to Mormon experience are not necessarily Mormon doctrines, and this shows a good problem that we have in the church, where we don't really understand what is truly doctrine or revelation from God, and what is purely cultural or a personal opinion that is just spread. And in the next slide, it shows us a good way to figure out what is doctrine, what isn't. Number one, is it repeatedly found in the scriptures? Number two, is it proclaimed by the united voice of the current brethren? Number three, is it consistently taught by current general authorities and general officers acting in their official capacity? And number four, is it found in recent church publications or statements? And this is a great baseline to start that process of figuring out whether something is really doctrine and analyzing the doctrine itself. So two good prophetic sources for this, I believe, are shown in these two talks, and we'll start with D. Todd Christofferson. So here we can see a quote by Elder Christofferson says, at the same time, it should be remembered that not every statement made by a church leader, past or present, necessarily constitutes doctrine. It is commonly understood in the church that a statement made by one leader on a single occasion often represents a personal, though well-considered opinion, not meant to be official or binding for the whole church. And it's good to see that the brethren have a decent idea of this problem and are addressing it. Now, President Russell M. Nelson gives another good point to this argument. If you are not also seeking the Lord through daily prayer and gospel study, you leave yourself vulnerable to philosophies that may be intriguing but are not true. And this is a great point where we really need to be in tune with the Spirit to be able to recognize some falsities that come into our practices because of culture, because of people's opinions on how things happen. And so having that spiritual sensitivity when analyzing doctrine is key, is really important, as well as research and just looking things up. So we have Doctrine and Covenants, these two sections right here. And we'll start with 88:118. And as all have not faith, seek ye diligently and teach one another words of wisdom. Yea, seek ye out of the best books words of wisdom. Seek learning, even by study and also by faith. And this is a scripture that's quoted all the time on this topic, on studying, learning. Do your research, do what you can, process it, stretch it out in your mind, and then pray about it with faith. And then here in John D&C 11:22, study my word which hath gone forth among the children of men, and also study my word which shall come forth among the children of men. Or that which is now translating, yea, until you have obtained all which I shall grant unto the children of men in this generation, and then shall all things be added thereto. Basically, another scripture, while talking about the translation of the Book of Mormon, is also really good at expressing the fact that we need to study these things, really think about it. Don't just take it at face value. Study it out in our mind, ponder it, think about it. Like, read between the lines. What are these things saying? And then adding, I think this quote is just amazing from the Joseph Smith papers. Parley P. Pratt said, Americans read, ponder, weigh and consider, and act accordingly. And I think this is a beautiful quote. Just read, bring in the context, read it, figure out what it is, ponder it out in your mind, critically think, like go over it, read between the lines, weigh and consider, what does this mean? What does that, if it means this, then what does that mean to me? And then act accordingly. Like, be willing to act on what is being revealed. And so, just bringing it to the concepts. Concept one, pondering isn't the same as reading. Read it, think about it. Like, really study it out in your mind. Don't just take it at face value. And the concept two, there's always more to the story. Look deeper, fact check. Like, look, where are these sources coming from? Where are these people getting their information? Are they biased? Things like that. Just like, what does it, like, analyze it, like, figure it out, and then pray on it. Like, do what you can. And so I think applying this is like, never assume anything when you read it. Look into it, critically think it, and then pray about it. Like, do have that balance between academically learning about it and researching, and then praying and fasting and asking the Lord about these things. And I think this is a great way to analyze Latter-day Saint doctrine.